Over 46 years since it departed Earth, Voyager 2 has achieved something unexpected, an occurrence that has astonished scientists and stirred profound concerns about what may exist beyond our solar system. For decades, the spacecraft has journeyed silently through the distant reaches of space, offering humanity fragmented glimpses into the unknown. Yet recently, a shift occurred. Just when it seemed the probe was peacefully fading into interstellar oblivion, it executed a subtle maneuver. Its antenna realigned slightly, transmitting a short but significant signal that validated a fear long held by some. What lies beyond the heliopause is neither vacant nor silent. Voyager 2 has encountered something unmistakable. The Voyager missions were initiated for the sake of exploration, but they were never expected to encounter anything so profoundly mysterious. Upon crossing the heliopause, the boundary where solar winds give way to the interstellar environment, researchers anticipated minor changes, fluctuations in magnetic fields, temperature shifts, or variations in cosmic ray intensity. What they received instead was an organized pattern of signals, oscillating frequencies, rhythmic pulses, and low-frequency emissions unlike anything previously recorded. These signals were neither chaotic nor random. They followed discernible patterns, suggesting purpose and repetition. Initially, some hypothesized a technical malfunction. Perhaps it was a feedback loop or internal error. However, extensive analysis indicated the signals originated from outside the probe and dissipated once Voyager 2 crossed a certain threshold in deep space. The consequences of this realization are significant. It challenges the long-standing belief that interstellar space is a vast, inactive vacuum. Instead, the data hints at the presence of forces, structures, or possibly observers, entities, or systems that register and respond to intrusions into this realm. Voyager 2's minor course adjustment wasn't a full navigation change, but a reorientation specifically of its antenna. This adjustment wasn't prompted by commands from Earth, but seems to have been triggered by an automated internal reaction to an external signal. The origin of that signal was in the exact direction Voyager 2 had been facing before it turned. What's most unsettling is the nature of this signal. It wasn't mere background noise. It exhibited modulation, structure, and then fell completely silent. During this moment, Voyager's instruments appeared to pause, as though the surrounding space had briefly altered in energy or form, temporarily halting sensor activity. This event signifies far more than a strange signal detection. It implies that in sending Voyager to beyond the solar system, we may have unknowingly encroached upon a domain monitored or controlled by something else. The heliopause, once thought to be a natural marker, now appears to be a kind of barrier, potentially one signifying zones of influence or even ancient territorial divides maintained by unknown intelligence. Voyager 2's reorientation implies a response, a non-random reaction triggered by its crossing. It suggests that the spacecraft entered a region under surveillance or oversight. What is perhaps most disturbing is that this wasn't a dramatic or violent encounter. The reaction was subtle and deliberate. Voyager's systems responded not to an impact, but to something immaterial, a message of sorts. The signal itself was carefully structured and then deliberately stopped. Following this, the spacecraft's internal power levels, which had been slowly declining over the years, showed a brief resurgence before returning to their prior trajectory. This anomaly, with no known source of energy in the region, suggests a form of contact, possibly not physical, but energetic in nature. If something out there can influence Voyager 2 in such a way, then it is not passive. It is not inert. It possesses the ability to detect, engage with, and potentially manipulate our technology. The discomfort now growing within the scientific community is not simply from the unknown, but from the emerging belief that we have been seen, that something has become aware of our presence. Voyager 2, long considered a passive emissary from Earth, may have inadvertently crossed a threshold it was never intended to pass. The signal it received may not have been mere data. It could have been a probe of its own, a test, or a form of communication vastly different from anything we understand. This interaction changes everything. It implies that the interstellar medium is complex, reactive, and possibly inhabited in a form we cannot yet grasp. Voyager 2 has brushed against something a limit not just of space, but of comprehension. Interestingly, Voyager 1, its predecessor, has not reported similar phenomena, despite also having crossed the heliopause. This discrepancy raises further questions. Did Voyager 2 venture into a distinct region of interstellar space? Are there spatial corridors with specific rules or zones of activity? Could there be designated paths through interstellar space, and did Voyager 2 inadvertently stray from them? Scientists observing the Voyager missions are unsettled. The data is consistent and reproducible. The magnetometers recorded erratic drops and surges, while the plasma wave instruments captured sound-like patterns reminiscent of sonar signals reflecting off invisible structures. Even more perplexing, immediately following the mysterious signal, Voyager's gyroscopes briefly went inactive as if time itself momentarily halted. When functionality resumed, the probe's orientation had changed just slightly, now pointing subtly back toward the heliopause and, indirectly, back toward Earth. Then there was the strange boost in Voyager's energy levels, unexplained and temporary, but very real. There is no known energy source in that region to account for such a phenomenon, unless an interaction occurred. This could suggest contact not in a tangible sense, but in an energetic exchange. If something in space can affect our machines this precisely, then it may not be just an observer. It could be capable of deliberate influence. This changes the nature of our relationship with the cosmos. Voyager 2's encounter signals a moment in human history where space ceased being silent. The idea that the heliopause acts as a kind of interstellar membrane, delicate, monitored, possibly even defended, reframes our understanding of cosmic boundaries. It is as if Voyager 2 crossed an invisible line and something took notice. The reaction was not accidental. The signal appeared to be a direct response to Voyager's crossing. The transmission stopped after a threshold was met, suggesting a form of programmed interaction. Scientists studying the data noted an unsettling precision in how the signal was delivered and ceased. One alarming theory is that Voyager 2 was not merely detected, but sampled. Some researchers worrying that its systems were briefly accessed, perhaps copied or mimicked, conducting a form of remote diagnostics. This would mean that information about Earth, embedded in the probe's architecture, now exists in an unknown location, processed by unknown mechanisms. Even more disconcerting, Voyager 2's internal data buffers showed unusual entries, bursts of coded noise not consistent with any internal diagnostics or system faults. When plotted, these patterns took on geometric forms, some resembling known constellations, others appearing altogether alien. One particular pattern repeated multiple times within 2 hours, then abruptly ceased. This regularity suggests intent, not randomness. This has led some to speculate that Voyager 2 may have activated something. Not necessarily an intelligent entity, but perhaps an autonomous monitoring system embedded within the structure of interstellar space. Comparable to Earth's environmental satellites, this mechanism might react when foreign objects pass through. But the fact that it responded in a way interpretable by our probe and then went silent suggests a threshold event. A point of contact was reached, and then the system disengaged. The silence that followed is deafening. Voyager 2 continues to transmit, but no further signals have been received. Interpretations vary. Some believe the mechanism lost interest. Others suggest it is observing quietly, waiting. Some fear that this might not be the first such contact. Perhaps other civilizations have ventured into this region before. Perhaps some never returned. Through this new lens, Voyager 2 is no longer a symbol of solitary exploration. It may have wandered into a region that has been monitored for millennia, possibly a border of an ancient surveillance network. Its path may echo the footsteps of past travelers, some unknown, some perhaps judged. The underlying fear is that there are rules to space, ones we have never understood. So far, there's been no aggression, no attack, no technological sabotage. But the real question is, have we done anything wrong, Or is judgment simply pending? This interaction, even if brief, forces us to reevaluate what we assume about the cosmos. Voyager to now carries with it not just Earth's artifacts and sounds, but perhaps a silent signature, a trace of an encounter that could change everything. What if this wasn't simply an anomaly, but the beginning of something larger? Could it have triggered a process still unfolding? Could the probe's crossing have signaled to something else, a beacon alerting distant systems that we are here? Some scientists now wonder, was the signal meant for Voyager, or was Voyager merely a switch, a key activating a latent system? Such systems, if real, wouldn't need to be conscious in the way we understand intelligence. They could be like cosmic sensors, reacting to disturbances in energy or matter.